Hi, Gene Burnett from GeneBurnett.com. Hey, I thought I would talk a little bit today about the power chain of command in the body, like when we're doing movements and stuff, especially Tai Chi movements or martial art type movements. In the Tai Chi writings or in the classics somewhere, I believe there's a statement that the intent or the idea in your mind of what you want to do is like a general, and the chi is like a signal master. In the old days, the general got as high as they could get looking over the battlefield, and they would direct the soldiers, the muscles and bones, but they would direct their soldiers through like a series of signals, and I believe it was various flags, because of course they didn't have telegrams or telephones, and certainly not cell phones. And so, they'd give a command, and then the guy would have a flag signal, and it would go to another guy and another guy, and all the way down to where it was needed. So the intent is the general, and the chi is the signal corps, and the muscles and bones are the soldiers who get the job done. I don't really, in my mind, I don't really think of chi as a sort of like a substance that you're directing around with your mind in your body. I don't see any evidence that's the case. I don't think of chi as the life force or just energy or any of these kind of vague catch-all words that don't really mean anything. To me, it's basically the function of the nervous system, the integrating, listening, coordinating aspects of our nervous system. There's sensory nerves bringing information in, that would be the flags coming this way, and then there's motor nerves directing energy or movement out, that would be the signal corps going to the soldiers. And so for me, it's like I have the intent in my mind of what I want to do, and that intent connects through my nervous system to my whole body, both its listening capacities and its coordinating capacities and its integrative capacities. And then that sense, that felt sense of my body moves my muscles and bones or guides or leads them. So basically for me, Tai Chi is about refining the chain of command so that my intent connects smoothly and evenly through my nervous system to my muscles and bones. So I'm basically refining the connection between the nervous system and the muscles and bones so that I don't over-contract or over-tense or under-contract or under-tense, so that the right muscles fire at the right time and the right amount to smoothly coordinate into a smooth movement, an effective, balanced movement. Because that's really what Tai Chi is about, is balance. Tai Chi is basically a symbol of balance. Tai Chi Chuan, a martial activity based on that harmonious relationship between polar opposites of yin and yang, hard and soft, stability, mobility, flow, structure. There's a million dualities in our world, and anytime you see one, if you think and rather than or, instead of black or white, it's black and white. That's a Taoist Tai Chi attitude of reconciling opposites into a dynamic conversation between the two rather than one or the other, or rather than a battle between one and the other. So in order to find that balance, in order to find those balance moves, you've got to figure out where you're tense and relax and where you're weak and strengthen and coordinate those movements through, again, the intent and the nervous system and the muscles and bones. Your integrative mind will figure it out if you point in the right direction and tell it what to do without trying to figure it out and manage it too much. Get your instruction, know your target, know how you're going to arrive at the end, and that integrative mind will figure it out. It'll gradually take in those little bits and pieces and put it together for you into one integrated whole. But the chain of command goes intent, nervous system, muscles, and bones. Part of the problem where things go wrong is sort of violating that chain of command, so that the intent has an idea, and then the muscles and bones move too quickly, too fast, jump the gun, and try to move before that coordinating nervous system level of connecting those movements together into one sort of flowing movement. Because really, when you think about it, the intent there's an intent to do a certain movement that will cause your center to move over one leg or the other. You've got to set up the movement. You can't, if you're just sitting there utterly 50-50, it's hard to move too well from here. You go to one leg and then you go. Or maybe you go to both legs and then primarily one has to push. Unless you're jumping straight up in the air, or doing a standing jump, most movements involve a shift of weight from one leg to the other. Practically, as far as any movement is concerned, I think you should think of the movement as starting in your foot, or grounded in your foot, and then powered by your leg, and then your waist takes over and adds some rotation to that, and then it's expressed by your upper limbs. So you've got root, power, direction, and rotational, adds a little momentum, and then the expression out the hands. But the chain of command has to start here, right? So you're going there. Now when the legs power the movement and then the arms take over direction, it doesn't work. Or the arms take over powering, or the center takes over powering. None of those work well. So you have to smooth out that connection, and your intent should say, settle into your body, feel the wholeness of the body through the nervous system. Now you're going to one leg or the other. That leg loads up. The other one creates a target like where you're going, and then your leg is going to power that movement, and then your waist is going to take over at the right moment. If it's too early, you'll twist your knee. If it's too late, it'll be all by itself. So while the momentum is in progress, the waist is added. This goes to like baseball or anything else. There's the shift of weight, and then there's the moment of rotation. If you rotate immediately, it won't work and your knees will twist. So the right time, the rotation has to happen at the right time. Very, very important. If it's too early, you'll hurt yourself. If it's too late, the movement will be too weak, and you might hurt yourself. So we don't want to power the movement with our waist. We don't want to power the movement with our arms. We want to power it from the legs. We want to add the waist, and the arms express it. And we want that chain of command to coordinate all that. So it goes head, idea in the head, nervous system, muscles and bones, right? Now, eventually that movement will become so integrated and so much a part of you that you can do the movement or put together parts of other movements spontaneously in the moment with almost no conscious thought whatsoever. Those movements are very, very cool. And in those movements, it isn't so much your conscious intent, it's your unconscious intent. Your unconscious intent to help somebody or to do something. Like if you're standing on a corner and a little kid is about to step into traffic and you just reach there and stop him, you won't even feel like you did anything. It'll just be automatic, right? So that's almost like life's intent or the moment's intent or your unconscious intent connects all, goes to your nervous system and to your muscles and bones. And if you've got a smooth connection and you've trained that through Tai Chi or yoga or something like that, it'll be a smooth movement instead of a jerky movement to save that kid. If it's a jerky movement, yeah, you've got the unconscious intent, the instant intent to save that kid, but your body and nervous system aren't coordinated. They're not working together. So it's like, you might even fall down while you're trying to stop the kid from going into traffic. So if you've got a smooth connection there, if your intent fuses smoothly and seamlessly with your nervous system and then with your muscles and bones, when your unconscious intent or life's intent takes over, the connection between the nervous system and the muscles and bones will just be there. So when you have that signal or that moment to do that, there'll be a smooth, harmonious movement to do that. I've told this story several times that I was sitting at a bar and a guy was overweight, old, had a few drinks, looking through his camera, he tripped and he was going to fall horizontally right in front of me down into a maze of chair legs and countertops or tabletops and stuff. And I saw him stumble, situational awareness, And then I started to move out of my chair as I saw him begin to fall, right? Sliding into action. And then as I got closer to him, I realized he was falling faster than I thought, and he was really going down. And by the time I got to him and glued my center to him, he was almost horizontal, and I just righted him with my legs and waist and just set him on his way. So I did a whole bunch of stuff that I learned from Tai Chi forms, even though the activity I did, the action I took, did not resemble any Tai Chi forms. I used leg strength and rooting in my feet and using my legs to move the weight of his body. I used distance management, speed adjustment, situational awareness, the right amount of strength, the dimmer switch, principle of not overdoing it or underdoing it, all those things. My body integrated all that into one smooth, seamless movement that I hardly consciously orchestrated at all. Life just came along, and there was a structure that pointed me to the action, and my body just took that action and really hopefully saved the evening. I mean, I think that he would have probably broke his wrist at the least because he wasn't letting go of that camera. My point is, though, in that moment, I didn't have to consciously direct my intent to my muscles and bones. The situation took over, but my nervous system was so connected to my muscles and bones that it could put it all together and make it happen. So a good idea, I think, is to just keep that chain of command in your mind. The idea starts here, it connects through your nervous system, and from there the muscles and bones act. If it's directly from your mind to your muscles and bones, it's probably just an ordinary movement and is somewhat disconnected. If it connects through your whole body first, that nervous system felt sense of your body, what you might call your chi if you want to call it that, then your muscles and bones will move smoothly towards the outcome. So keep that in mind. Intent is very powerful. As you train your body, nervous system, and muscles and bones to respond to your intent and to execute your intent, you'll find that even subtle shifts in intent will really have a difference. Like if I'm just doing the movement, like I'm going to do that parting horse's mane movement, I'm just going to change feet. I'm just going to switch feet and do it in place like that. So like if I'm doing this, and if I don't really have any martial intent here, my intent is just to shift my weight forward and turn my waist at the right time. I'm just working on that. So it can be nice, or I could be focusing on flow and smoothness, and you'll see that. So I'm focusing on that kind of flow and even relaxed movement in there. Now if I'm thinking martially, my whole body wants to arrive in a position where I can take force anywhere on my body at that moment, fairly equally. Like I don't want to be on my toes, I don't want to be out in my fingers. I don't want to be tense in my arms. I want my whole body to expand into that shape. Maybe it has a focus, but that focus doesn't take away from the rest of my posture. So a martial focus or a martial intent means everything arrives firm and then soft and then ready. So it's like firm and into neutral, and then what? What's next, right? So you can see it. If I had more room, I could show you a weapon form, or maybe like one of the partner forms where you move a little bit more fluidly and not quite laboriously with the footwork and stuff. So when you do those kind of movements, if you don't have the intent to do anything in particular, the movement's going to look like you're kind of not doing anything in particular. If your intent is on structure, the structure will manifest. If your intent is on flow, the flow part will manifest. If your intention is martial, though, the movement should start to show that everywhere. So keep that chain of command, intent, nervous system, muscles and bones, or if you will, intent, chi, muscles and bones. And also think of the chain of power going the other direction, legs, core, upper body, almost always in that order. Sometimes it's the other way around. You're going, still legs leading the way. Legs are too important in this. So you've got a power chain, and then you've got a chain of intent. So, good stuff, I think, to think about. It sure helps me in my practice when I think about this stuff, or, hold it in mind as I practice and teach Tai Chi. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I make these videos to be helpful. So if they are helpful, please let me know. It's always nice. And if you have any requests or specific videos you'd like to see, I'd be happy to make them if you think they'll be helpful. I do have a tip jar at my site, and I have a tip jar underneath on my descriptions below my YouTube videos. But really, I'm just doing this to be helpful. Tips are nice, but not required. So thanks for listening. Appreciate it, and we'll see you down the road.